Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the fundamental building blocks of how the internet works when applications talk to each other, HTTP request methods. If you're a budding web developer, API enthusiast, or just curious about what happens behind the scenes when you click a link or submit a form, then you're in the right place. Think of HTTP request methods as the verbs of the internet. They tell the server what action the client, like your web browser or an app, wants to perform on a resource. There are several of these verbs, but today we're focusing on the top 9 HTTP request methods that you'll encounter most often. Let's break them down one by one. First up, we have the workhorse of the web, GET. When you want to retrieve a single item or a list of items from a server, you use a GET request. For example, when you type in a website address in your browser, it sends a GET request to the server to get the HTML content of that page. You might see a URL like get/v1/product/iPhone. This is asking the server for information about the iPhone product. The server then sends back a response, which could be the product details, a list of products, or an error if something went wrong. Next, we have PUT. This method is used to update an existing item on the server. Typically, you'll send a request body along with the PUT request, containing the new information to replace the existing data. For example, put/6/users/123 might be used to update the information for the user with ID 123. The server will then send back a response indicating whether the update was successful or not. Then there's POST. This method is used to create a new item on the server. Similar to PUT, you'll usually include a request body with the data for the new resource you want to create. For example, post/v1/users might be used to create a new user account, with the user's details in the request body. The server's response will often include information about the newly created item. Now, what if you want to get rid of something? That's where delete comes in. As the name suggests, it's used to delete an item from the server. You'll typically specify the resource you want to delete in the URL, like delete/v1/users/123 to delete the user with ID 123. The server's response will usually indicate whether the deletion was successful. Sometimes, you don't want to replace an entire item, but just partially modify an item. That's where patch comes in handy. Like PUT and POST, it often includes a request body with the specific changes you want to make to an existing resource, identified by its URL, e.g., patch/v1/users/123. The server's response will confirm the partial update. Next up, we have head. This method is very similar to GET, but with a crucial difference: it retrieves the headers of a resource but without the message body. So, if you send a head/v1/product/iPhone request, the server will send back information about the iPhone product data, like its size, type, and last modified date, but not the actual product details themselves. This is useful for checking if a resource exists or for getting metadata without downloading the entire content. Now for something a bit less common in typical web browsing but important for network communication: connect. This method is used to establish a two-way connection with a proxy server. This is often used for protocols like HTTPS, where a secure tunnel needs to be established. You'll send a request to the proxy server, and it will establish the connection and send back a response indicating success or failure. Then we have options. This method is used to return a list of the supported HTTP methods for a specific URL. If you send an option/v1/users request, the server might respond with information telling you that you can use GET, POST, PUT, DELETE, etc. on that /v1/users endpoint. This allows clients to understand the capabilities of the server. Finally, we have trace. This method is used to perform a message loopback test, providing a debugging mechanism. When you send a trace request to a server, trace/index.html, the server should echo back the exact request it received. This can be helpful for seeing if any intermediaries, like proxies, are modifying your requests along the way. So, there you have it, the top 9 HTTP request methods. These verbs are the foundation of communication on the web and are essential for understanding how applications interact with servers. Which of these methods are you most familiar with? Have you used them in your projects? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.